She thought the legal system would favor her. She was wrong. My name is Marcus, and 3 years ago I thought I'd found the woman I'd spend my life with. Sarah seemed perfect, beautiful, charming, and she loved my German Shepherd, Rex, almost as much as I did. Almost. That word would come back to haunt both of us, but in ways she never saw coming. Rex had been my companion for 4 years before Sarah entered our lives. I'd rescued him as a puppy from a shelter, nursed him through parvo, trained him myself, and built a bond that felt unbreakable. Every vet bill, every training session, every midnight walk, that was all me. Sarah knew this, but love makes you share everything, doesn't it? I put her name on the apartment lease, gave her keys to my car, and foolishly I let her take Rex to the vet a few times when I was traveling for work. The relationship lasted 18 months, and for most of that time, I thought we were building something real. Sarah would post pictures of Rex on her social media, calling him our baby and talking about our little family. I found it endearing then. I should have found it concerning. The breakup wasn't clean. Money, possessions, and hurt feelings created a mess that took weeks to sort through. But the morning I came home from a business trip to find Rex gone, along with his bed, toys, and food, that's when clean became impossible. Sarah had moved out while I was away, and she'd taken my dog with her. When I called, her explanation was delivered with the kind of cold certainty that chills your blood. She claimed Rex was as much hers as mine. She said she'd been the primary caregiver, that I traveled too much, that Rex was better off with her. Every word was calculated to wound, and every word was a lie. I'd been betrayed before, but never like this. Taking someone's dog isn't just theft. It's emotional terrorism. Rex wasn't property to me. He was family. That night, alone in an apartment that felt hollow without the sound of his paws on the hardwood, I made a decision that would change everything. Most people would have given up, figured it wasn't worth the fight, or tried to negotiate some kind of shared custody. I'm not most people. I spent that first week doing what I do best, research. What I found surprised me and gave me the first spark of hope I'd felt since coming home to that empty apartment. Pet custody law is more complex than most people realize. Courts increasingly treat companion animals differently than other property, especially when there's evidence of a primary caregiver relationship. The key word being evidence. Sarah might have thought she was clever, but she'd made a crucial error. She'd underestimated just how meticulous I am about documentation. Every vet visit for Rex had been in my name. Every receipt for his food, toys, and supplies had my credit card information. His microchip registration, his city license, his training certificates, all of it traced back to me. I had 4 years of documented proof that Rex was mine, and Sarah had 18 months of social media posts calling him ours. But I needed more than paperwork. I needed witnesses, and fortunately, the truth has a way of surfacing when you dig deep enough. Dr. Jennifer Walsh had been Rex's veterinarian since he was a puppy. When I explained the situation, her professional demeanor shifted to something more personal. She remembered every visit, every vaccination, every time I'd worried about Rex's health. More importantly, she remembered the last time Sarah had brought Rex in alone. It had been for a routine checkup, but Dr. Walsh noticed something troubling. Rex seemed anxious, and Sarah appeared frustrated with his behavior. When Rex wouldn't stop whining, Sarah had yanked his leash hard enough that Dr. Walsh intervened. She'd made a note in Rex's file about the incident, questioning whether Sarah understood proper animal handling. That note became the foundation of my case, but it was just the beginning. I contacted Rex's trainer, the staff at his daycare, even neighbors who'd seen us together over the years. The picture that emerged was clear. I was Rex's person, and everyone knew it. 3 weeks after Sarah took Rex, I filed a petition for emergency custody. The legal term is replevin, essentially asking the court to return wrongfully taken property. But I wasn't treating this like a property dispute. I was treating it like a custody battle, complete with character witnesses and of Rex's best interests. Sarah's response came through her lawyer, and it was exactly what I expected. A mix of lies, manipulation, and desperate overreach. She claimed I was never home, that Rex preferred her, that I'd been planning to give him away anyway. She even alleged that I'd been abusive to Rex, a lie so outrageous it made my hands shake when I read it. But here's the thing about lies. They require consistency to be effective, and Sarah had never been good at keeping her stories straight. The same social media accounts she'd used to document her life with Rex also documented her frequent complaints about pet ownership. Screenshots of her posts about Rex being too much work and her jokes about wishing she could return him to the store painted a very different picture than the devoted pet parent she was claiming to be in court. The hearing was scheduled for a Tuesday morning in family court. I'd never been in a courtroom before, but I'd prepared like my life depended on it. 3 binders of evidence, 5 character witnesses, and Dr. Walsh's detailed testimony about Sarah's concerning behavior with Rex. Sarah arrived with her lawyer and a story I almost admired for its audacity. She painted herself as Rex's primary caregiver, claimed I was neglectful, and even brought fake receipts for pet supplies she claimed to have purchased. She'd clearly spent weeks preparing her deception, but she'd made one fatal error. She'd forgotten about Rex himself. The judge, an older woman with kind eyes and a no-nonsense demeanor, listened to both sides present their cases. When it came time for her decision, she did something unexpected. She asked the bailiff to bring Rex into the courtroom. Rex had been waiting in a holding area, and when those doors opened, everything Sarah had said became irrelevant. Rex saw me and his entire body language changed. His tail went wild. He pulled toward me with such force that the handler almost lost his grip, and he made that specific whining sound he only made when he was excited to see me after a long absence. Then the judge asked Sarah to call Rex to her. The silence that followed was deafening. Rex looked at Sarah, tilted his head with what I swear was confusion, and then looked back at me. When she tried to approach him, he actually backed away. That moment broke Sarah's facade completely. The tears started, but they weren't tears of sadness. They were tears of someone whose lies had been exposed in the most public way possible. Her lawyer tried to salvage the situation, but you can't argue with a dog's honest reaction. The judge's ruling was swift and comprehensive. Full custody of Rex was awarded to me, with an additional restraining order preventing Sarah from coming within 500 feet of either of us. But the judge didn't stop there. She'd clearly seen through Sarah's performance, and her comments from the bench were scathing. She noted the inconsistencies in Sarah's testimony, the concerning reports from Dr. Walsh, and most importantly, Rex's clear preference for his actual owner. She called Sarah's behavior manipulative and potentially harmful to the animal's well-being, and suggested that her attempts to falsify evidence could result in additional legal consequences. Walking out of that courtroom with Rex by my side felt like breathing for the first time in weeks. But Sarah's humiliation wasn't over. It was just beginning. The story might have ended there, but Sarah made one final mistake. Instead of accepting defeat quietly, she decided to wage a social media campaign to salvage her reputation. She posted a long, dramatic story about how I'd stolen Rex from her, painting herself as the victim of a biased legal system. The problem with lies is that the truth has a way of fighting back. Within hours, screenshots of the court documents were circulating, along with Dr. Walsh's testimony, and even security footage from Rex's daycare showing how he reacted to Sarah versus how he reacted to me. The internet can be cruel, but it has no patience for people who lie about animal abuse. Sarah's post backfired spectacularly. Instead of sympathy, she received hundreds of comments calling her out for her deception. People shared their own stories of pet theft, and Sarah became an example of everything wrong with manipulative ex-partners. Her employer even got involved after clients started complaining about her character. 2 weeks later, Sarah posted a public apology. It was clearly written by a lawyer, but the message was unmistakable. She admitted to taking Rex improperly, acknowledged that he belonged with me, and apologized for her behavior in court. She also deactivated all her social media accounts the same day. The legal bills cost me nearly $8,000, but seeing Sarah forced to publicly admit her lies, that was priceless. More importantly, Rex was home where he belonged, and our bond was stronger than ever. Rex is 6 years old now, and he's never been happier. We moved to a house with a big backyard, and he has the kind of life every dog deserves. Sometimes when I watch him playing in the yard, I think about how close I came to losing him forever. Sarah tried to contact me once more, about 6 months after the court case. She sent a letter through her lawyer asking if she could visit Rex for closure. I had my lawyer send back a simple response. No contact. Ever. The restraining order is still in effect, and I've never seen or heard from Sarah again. Friends tell me she moved to another state, probably to escape the reputation she'd built for herself here. I hope she learned something from the experience, but honestly, I don't spend much time thinking about her anymore. What I learned from this whole experience is that some battles are worth fighting, no matter the cost. Rex wasn't just a dog to me, he was family. And when someone tries to steal your family, you don't negotiate. You fight with everything you have. I also learned that the truth has a way of revealing itself, especially when someone is desperate enough to lie under oath. Sarah thought she could manipulate the system, but she forgot that lies have a way of unraveling when they're exposed to scrutiny. The best part of this whole story isn't the money Sarah had to pay in legal fees, or her public humiliation, or even the restraining order. The best part is that Rex and I are together, and no one can ever take that away again. Sometimes people ask me if I think I went too far, if the legal battle was worth the stress and expense. I usually just point to Rex, sleeping peacefully in his bed, completely secure in the knowledge that he's home where he belongs. That's all the answer I need. Justice isn't always swift, but when it finally arrives, it's incredibly sweet. And sometimes, the things we fight hardest for have 4 legs and the most loyal hearts in the world. Rex just turned his head to look at me as I finished telling this story, almost like he remembers it all too. I scratch behind his ears, and his tail thumps against the floor. We both know we're exactly where we're supposed to be. Sometimes the things we fight hardest for have 4 legs,